Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only financial news and talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Yes, of course, we are celebrating today, as we do every day on Ron Siegel Radio. It is National... What is this? Holy cow. National Hike with a Geek Day today. National Hike with a Geek Day. National, I can't even say that one. American Eagle Day, so we would soar there. National Ice Cream Soda Day today. Like that one.
What?
And National Vanilla Milkshake Day. Well, I'd go with a little chocolate in there, but National Vanilla Milkshake Day today. We can deal with that one. That's okay to live with. Checking the markets right now, down 15 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We are looking at oil down $1.20 a barrel at $43 a barrel. That would make the national average for a gallon of gasoline $2.28.5. And here in Taxifornia, $2.99.8 cents, $2.99.8, very close to leading the country in gas prices right here in Taxifornia. Think about that. We are at $2.99.8 in South Carolina. They're at $1.96.6.
Ow!
Yeah, lowest in the country, South Carolina, 196.6.
Ow!
Yeah, you already said that, guys. Moving right along, we are also looking at the U.S. 10-year Treasury down further, 2.156. I have shared with you that it is my belief this is going to about 181, 184 on the yield of the 10-year Treasury, which will mean that mortgage rates are dropping. Yeah, we like to see that one. Mortgage rates going down. That's a good news item right there. So
More money, more money, more money.
if you've been thinking about buying, selling, refinancing, debt consolidation opportunity, it is sitting there right there for you right now. So my recommendation, take advantage, at least take a look and see what the market has to offer for you and for your family. Continuing our move right now. What are we checking the markets? Actually, let's take a look right now. You got to look at CNN. Acosta lashes out against White House president's taping. CNN not happy with the idea that they cannot do their entire newscast right there from within the White House press briefing room. The White House has come out and said no videotape, no audio tape in the press briefing. The reporters are going to have to do their own work.
You're absolutely useless.
Yeah, they have to go in there. They're going to have to show their work. They're going to have to take notes, write a story. Ooh, that's kind of tough for those guys.
It is what it is.
They might have to even come up with some information, do a little homework on their own, instead of just taking a clip and playing it on their nightly news. A little challenge for these guys. They're not used to having to do any work. That's a big surprise for them. Most of the media, they just like the idea of either cut and splice or give it to the interns to do, they might not have the opportunity that they had before. Speaking of opportunity, Georgia's race finally going to the voters. Have you been watching this one? The most expensive House race in U.S. history heads to the voters today in the northern suburbs of Atlanta. Either Republican Karen Handel will claim a seat that's been in her party's hands since 1979, or Democrat John Ossoff will manage an upset that will rattle Washington, maybe. We'll see. Here's the issue right there. Number one, Ossoff. It's kind of funny because Karen Handel had the greatest line in one of the debates. She asked Ossoff who he's going to vote for in the election. Well, Ossoff couldn't answer the question because he doesn't live in the district. So he doesn't get a vote in the election. What a shame. Unbelievable. Then the other part of this is it's amazing. Now, obviously, we've shared this with you that Donald Trump carried this just by a squeaker, this district, in the presidential election. But $23 million has been gone to Ossoff, mostly from, you gotta guess where that money's coming from. Yeah, the money's not coming out of his district. Here comes California, New York, and Massachusetts is where the money has come from. Yeah, they're looking at this as being a big place for the Democrats. So I think it would be great if we see that the Democrats spending $23 million from California, New York, and Massachusetts, sending them money. If they lose, it'll be great. Not only because I look at what Ossoff stands for, but you look at the other side of it. Do we really want our races, our congressional races, just to be all about who can spend the most money? Do we want California to be able to buy these races from their advertising abilities? I'm going to suggest that's not the best idea. But the bottom line here is that is what's happening nowadays. Amazing that these people think they can just buy an election. Moving right along today, tech CEOs visited the White House yesterday. They are talking about modernizing the government.
This is ridiculous.
Think about this one. I was just reading in the article, in the coverage that they were talking about here, that there are still some departments of the United States government where they're working off of floppy disks. Could you imagine that, working off a floppy disk? Now, the young people probably don't even know what a floppy disk is. Haven't had a floppy disk in decades, yet part of our government is working off of floppy disks. Just hard to believe in this day and age and the amount of money that our government wastes on so many things. Do you remember the study about shrimp on treadmills or the effects of parties on fraternities? Think about all those issues that went on. Yeah, that's all part of it. So now they're looking at still working off of floppy disks. And it is nice to see that we're getting a lot of folks coming back. People that do not see eye to eye with the president, they're still going to these meetings. They're still participating in these meetings. Jeff Bezos, obviously part of this anti-Trump, Trump haters, never Trumpers, whatever you want to call it. According to the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, Bezos has a lot of good ideas. One of them is not who he supports for office because he's an anti-Trumper, but Bezos is participating. We're seeing Tim Cook, Eric Schmidt participating. No word on whether our buddy from, Elon Musk, I wonder if he showed up. He said he was not going to as a protest to climate change.
Nothing like a little air superiority.
Yeah, he doesn't get his way, so he's going to throw a temper tantrum, although his shareholders may not be too happy about that simply because they're still getting a lot of government money. May not like the idea that they're getting all that government money, or giving up that government money, so it might be an issue that he may have to eat a little crow. Speaking about eating a little, and on National Vanilla Milkshake Day, Ben & Jerry's are in the news, facing protests over workers' rights. Now, that's kind of interesting when you talk about Ben & Jerry, about as liberal an individuals as you get. But the progressive ice cream maker is facing protests for not being quite progressive enough, with protesters charging the company is not making sure its dairy suppliers are paying immigrant workers a fair wage.
You're absolutely useless.
Yeah, scores of dairy farm workers and activists marched over the weekend to a Ben & Jerry's factory to push for better pay and the living conditions on farms that provide milk for the ice cream maker that takes pride in its social activism. Protesters said Ben & Jerry's agreed 2 years ago to participate in the so-called Milk with Dignity program, but the company and worker representatives have yet to reach an agreement. We can't wait anymore. We're going to pressure them and see what happens, said Victor Diaz, a Mexican immigrant worker on a farm in Vergennes. The march that began Saturday morning in Montpelier ended mid-afternoon at the plant in Waterbury, about 14 miles away. Organizers Will Lambic said the marchers presented a letter to company CEO Josten Solheim, who said the company was committed to joining the program. Just a thought there. Ben & Jerry in the news, maybe not for all the reasons that they wanted to be. Moving right along. How you holding up in this heat? A lot of heat out there right now. I saw that actually in Arizona, they had to cancel some flights in Arizona because it was just too hot. Airlines canceled flights in Phoenix, and doctors urged people to be careful around concrete, playground equipment, and vehicle interiors Monday as a punishing heat wave threatens to bring temperatures approaching 120 degrees to parts of southwestern. Yeah, I had some friends out in the Coachella Valley said it's about the same thing out there. Vegas, 117 degrees, although stay in the casinos. I'm sure that they will keep it nice and cool in those casinos for you. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets when we come back. Do you know how much equity you have in your home? Higher student loan rates take effect in July. How debt can help you jumpstart your business. And millennials helping America save more money. Millennials helping America save more money. Is that really the case? Well, we're going to talk about all that and more. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, you know the line. Shame on you. Because they're available. All of our replays are available. Ron Siegel 1. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1, on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Your Credit Matters segment today, being brought to you by Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star is the only lender that I know of that has the Fast Pass approval. Fast Pass approval. No, I did not say pre-approval. I said Fast Pass approval because an underwriter has already approved your loan. All they need to do is put an address in there, review the contract, appraisal, title, clear title, and off you go. It's going to be very, very quick if you've got that Fast Pass approval. So the story this morning, not good news for a lot of individuals. Higher student loan rates take effect in July, and here's what that means for student loan borrowers. For the first time since 2014, the interest rates on federal student loans are going up. I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news, but they are going up. Oh. Loans dispersed between July 1, 2017 and June 30th, 2018 will carry the new rates, which are 0.69 percentage points higher than those of federal loans that have gone out since July 1, 2016. The new rates: direct subsidized loans for undergraduate borrowers, 4.45%. Direct unsubsidized loans for undergraduate borrowers, 4.45%. Direct unsubsidized loans for graduate or professional student borrowers, 6%. Damn! And direct plus loans for graduate and professional student borrowers, 7%. Direct plus, that's the parent plus. Why did interest rates change? Well, the legislation went into effect in 2013. Yep.
So I know whose ass to kick.
Tied federal student loan interest rates to the 10-year Treasury note. Every year, the undergraduate loan rates are calculated by adding 2.05 percentage points to the high yield of the 10-year note at the last auction prior to June 1st. Add 3.6 percentage points to the high yield to determine unsubsidized graduate loan rates, and add 4.6 percentage points for the plus loans. If you're getting a federal student loan in the next year, these are the rates you'll pay for the life of the loan. Borrowers with existing federal student loans won't experience a rate change unless they have a variable interest rate, which is rare. While the rates have gone up, they could be much worse. Yeah, right.
I got a bad feeling about this.
The 2013 legislation caps federal student loan interest rates at 8.25% for undergraduates, 9.5% for subsidized graduate loans, and 10.5% for plus loans. Since the 2008 financial crisis, the benchmark rate has remained historically low, but if it rises, future student loan borrowers will pay. So if you're going to go to college in the next few years or will borrow on behalf of someone who is, keep tabs on the 10-year Treasury yield. And we talk about the 10-year Treasury yield right here on Ron Siegel Radio on a regular basis. Why do we talk about that so frequently? Well, it's very, very simple why we spend so much time discussing that 10-year yield. Not only does it affect the student loan rates, but it also has a direct effect on the mortgage-backed securities, which is what brings us to the 30-year fixed-rate loans and the other mortgage loans. So we want to make sure that you're always watching those, just because it does have an effect on you. And we want to make sure that you're watching that, you understanding what it's doing to you, what it's doing for you, what's happening for your family. When you start looking at those different numbers on the mortgage-backed securities, there's a direct correlation right there to those loans as opposed to where you're heading on the 10 years. It's usually because of regulation. Now, hopefully we'll see this change under the Trump administration, but there was so much regulation in the Obama administration, in the Obama years, that we started to see the fact that people just couldn't afford the rates. Watch the lending companies, the mortgage bankers. They couldn't afford that regulation. So what did they do? Well, what the regulators always do is, or the lenders, is they're business people. They have to watch the market. They have to understand what's happening in the marketplace. And when they're doing that, they cover for it. So how do they cover it? What they do is they've added 1%, 1 full percentage point on your interest. So if you are getting a 4% loan right now, and I don't know what you're getting, but if you just look at the Freddie Mac rate, 3.91% as of last Thursday. We'll get a new number next week, or this week, later in the week. But 3.91% is the average on that Freddie Mac rate. If it was not for all the regulation, all the red tape, and quite honestly, right now what we look at, part of that has to do with the fact that we've got too big to fail in there as well. So the community banks don't even get in there. They're not even part of the conversation. When they're not part of the conversation, all you get is the big banks and the insurance companies out there, and you don't have competition. When there's lack of competition, rates can go up. And that's why if we got rid of the regulation and we got the community banks and some of the others back in the game, they tell me that rates would be down 1 full percentage point. So instead of paying 3.91 on that 30-year fixed rate, you might be at 2.91. 1% going to pay for the regulation that the mortgage bankers are looking at, having to deal with, having to budget for. Just a thought for you. That is the Your Credit Matters segment. Again, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. Get the Fast Pass approval so your real estate professional can check box J4 on the real estate purchase agreement here in the state of California, and you're able to compete with cash offers. Just a thought for you right there. Now, one of the things I shared this morning that we're going to talk about today is how debt can help jumpstart your business. And many business owners run in the other direction when they hear the word debt, but debt can help a business thrive. If you take away the stigma, you can see how it can be used to your advantage. If you know how to manage it, here are some tips for using debt to grow your business. Number one, you'll grow faster. Taking out a loan can help you grow your business, creating more opportunity for profit. A loan can be used to purchase new equipment to develop your product quicker, increase your overall inventory, or help open a new location. By taking out a loan, you give yourself room to grow without making additional investments with company profits. Before taking on a loan for your business, make sure you have a plan. If you take out a loan without one, or if your business is struggling financially, it may set you back. However, if you leverage your debt effectively, you could be on the right track to using your debt wisely. Before making any big financial decisions for your business, consider speaking with a debt attorney or financial planner to help you weigh out your options. And I'll share with you, I do not do either of those. I'm not a debt attorney and I am not a financial planner. I am just sharing with you, get guidance. CPA might be able to help you. Now, you're not looking for the CPA that is the individual that is just doing your taxes. You're wanting their financial side, because what you really want to be looking for is, how is this going to benefit your business? How are you planning on paying it back? We've had Jeff Ball in here, from the CEO of Friendly Hills Bank, and we've chatted with him in the past about these issues, about don't take out a 25-year loan on a asset that's got a 5-year useful life. That's foolish. You have to look at it and see what makes sense for you. Second idea here, keep ownership of your business. Sometimes businesses need extra cash flow to expand, and continue running smoothly. By choosing to take out a loan, you'll owe the lending institution interest but retain full ownership of your business. Any profits you make after paying principal and interest will be yours to keep. If you decide to take on a partner to increase capital, you may not only lose full control of your business, but be asked to share profits. So be sure to think through the options before you sign. A couple more ideas here for you when we come back on the concept of how debt can help jumpstart your business. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, do you know how much equity you have in your home? And some millennials helping America save more money. Talk about that and more. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender. Licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Do you own real estate or have assets over $150,000? Do you know one of your heirs will be the probate courts and the IRS? If you don't have a living trust, you will go through probate. Call Heritage Financial Services toll free at 1-855-434-7400 for a free review. Check us out on Facebook, Heritage Financial Service in Lake Forest, California. That's 1-855-434-7400. Again, 1-855-434-7400. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. One of the real estate professionals will reach out to you, get you the true... Well, we're going to talk about the equity position, but Nest is actually going to find your property, and it's going to tell you if you want. All you have to do is just let me know. But Nest will actually give you the information about every home that sells in your neighborhood. They just send you a text message once that sale goes through. The question this morning, do you know how much equity you have in your home? And I'm going to say in most instances, you do not know how much equity you have in your home. Most people just don't know those numbers. I shared some of the numbers with you yesterday, but CoreLogic's latest equity report revealed that 91,000 properties regained equity in the first quarter of 2017. This is great news for the country, as 48.2 million of all mortgaged properties are now in a positive equity position. Say that again, 48.2 million of all mortgaged properties are now in a positive equity position. Frank Nothaft, CoreLogic's chief economist, explained this. And I quote, 1 million borrowers achieved positive equity over the last year, which means risk continues to steadily decline as a result of increasing home prices, unquote. Frank Martell, president and CEO of CoreLogic, believes this is a great sign for the market in 2017, as well as he had this to say, and I'll quote there, homeowner equity increased by $766 billion over the last year, the largest increase since the second quarter of 2014. The rising cushion of home equity is one of the main drivers of improved mortgage performance. Since home equity is the largest source of homeowner wealth, the increase in home equity also supports consumer balance sheets, spending, and broader economy, unquote. Great news for homeowners. But do they realize that their equity position has changed? That's the big question. According to Fannie Mae's Home Purchase Sentiment Index, more homeowners are beginning to realize that they may have more equity than they first thought. Quote from them, this is only the second time in the survey's history that the net share of those saying it's good time to sell surpassed the net share of those saying it's a good time to buy, unquote. 78.8% of homeowners have significant equity. And we determine significant equity as being more than 20% in their homes today. This means that many Americans with a mortgage have an opportunity to take advantage of today's seller's market. With a sizable equity position, many homeowners could easily move into a housing situation that better meets their current needs, moving to a larger home or right-sizing. Doug Duncan, the Senior Vice President and Chief Economist at Fannie Mae, spoke out on this issue. High home prices have led many consumers to give us the first clear indication we've seen in the National Housing Survey's 7-year history that they think it's now a seller's market. However, we continue to see a lack of housing supply.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
As many potential sellers are unwilling or unable to put their homes on the market. The bottom line, if you're one of the many Americans who is unsure of how much equity you have built in your home, don't let that be the reason that you fail to move on to your dream home in 2017. Text PAIR, P-E-A-R, Professional Equity Analysis Review, to 79564, and let us put together a report for you. PAIR, P-A-R, 79564, it'll tell you how much equity you have in your property. Now, that is not the basic report that tells you just how much your home is worth. That is completely different. The value of your home and the Professional Equity Analysis Review are two completely different items. They are not anywhere close to the same. So I want you to get the professional equity analysis review and find out what your equity position is. And you need to have somebody that's going to share that information with you. Not only looking up the value of your property, they're going to also need a piece of information from you, one little piece of information, in order to get this whole report off to you. And again, it's free. Text PEAR 79564. So before the break, we were talking about how debt can help you jumpstart your business. And I want to get the rest of that report for you, because we already talked about the first two. You'll grow faster and you may keep ownership of your business. But what about the tax implications? In most cases, the IRS will allow your business to deduct the interest paid on your home loan if you used it for business purposes. This tax relief means more money for you and your business. A good thing, since every dollar counts for a business owner. Consider again speaking to a tax expert. That goes along with the CPA that I was chatting with you before, a consultant I was chatting with you before on the break. You may build credit and increase your spending limit. When you decide to take out a loan for your business, a lending institution is trusting you to repay the debt. If you make responsible on-time payments, you can increase your business's creditworthiness or business credit score. Smart credit habits can increase your overall spending limit, lower your future interest rates, and help you obtain better terms. So you'll need decent credit to take out a business credit card. So be sure to check your credit score before you apply. You can view 2 of your credit scores on credit.com. They have those. Or there's several other institutions. I've shared some of these with you before. One of them that I really like is the area where you can go to get your real FICO score. And again, as I've shared with you in the past, your credit score is not necessarily your FICO score. So I suggest creditchecktotal.com. You have to pay $1 for the first month, and you're going to get your real FICO score, and it's a soft pull. A soft pull is where they don't hit you with an inquiry because it's not going from a lender, it's going from you. You're wanting to do your due diligence to see if it makes sense for you, so you get your 3 credit reports and FICO scores for $1. Now, I like this one just because it's the real ones. We've talked in the past about Credit Karma. That only tells you your trajectory of your credit score. It is not giving you your legitimate FICO score. So creditchecktotal.com is giving you the true score. Working on a project right now where there's a gentleman, we're trying to get him to come on. He is a FICO expert. I think he's out of New York City. And we're working with him to try and see about, he does both personal and business credit. So we're chatting with him a little bit about possibly becoming a regular contributor on Ron Siegel Radio, just because it is such a major, major issue for you. Now, do you have to use him to get your credits repaired? No. But I would share with you that you could do almost all these things you can do on your own. Certainly, I mean, they've got the buttons right there on the Experian, Equifax, TransUnion sites where you could actually look at, fix your own credit, but it doesn't help you. It's not in your best interest. So I'm not going to recommend that you ever do that. But there are ways of doing it the right way, and that's what we really want you to look into, is getting it done the right way, not dealing with it in an incorrect method. I'm just sharing with you that you can do all these. You can do knee surgery. I've shared many times. I've got a very bad knee. I should have it replaced. I could probably do that surgery on my own because I could find all that information right there on the internet. Probably not going to come up with the best results. So why even try it? The bottom line is you hire a professional. In many instances, by hiring a professional, I suggest that, yeah, you do have some out-of-pocket expense, but in the long run, it's not going to cost you anything. And the reason I say it's not going to cost you anything is because your return on investment is what's the most important part of that, the return on investment. So that's where I come up with the idea that hire somebody to do it, get it done the right way, make it work for you. And again, using a business loan to help generate cash flow can be a way to grow your business. But again, it's not for everyone. Taking on unnecessary or bad debt can put your business at risk if you aren't careful. Though a loan can be helpful, it's important to be aware of the consequences in case things get out of hand. And before you shop for a loan, evaluate the possible risks, costs, benefits, and develop a proper business plan. Again, the interest should be a line item on your forecast, on your projections. And once you have that line item on there, you can see, will my sales go up, to make sure that it makes logical sense for me to take out that loan. Again, you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, millennials helping America save more money. Got to say thank you to those millennials for that. You'll also reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. They can't make the phone call for you, though. They've got the solutions, but they cannot make that phone call for you. So you've got to go online, check it out, get the information that you need, see if it makes sense for you, and then move along and get your credit reports corrected. We were chatting about this in the last segment quite a bit, the concept of the keeping your credit report accurate, because it is such a big item. Anytime you're looking at buying a house, a car, if you use it for furniture, whatnot, your credit report is going to come into play. So be very careful in making sure it is accurate all the time. Millennials helping America save more money. After almost a decade, Americans may finally be turning the corner on saving money. More than 30% of them say they have enough tucked away to cover 6 months worth of expenses.
Surprise!
That's a 7-year high for this measure of financial calamity preparedness, a financial planning favorite. Meanwhile, the percentage who concede in response to an annual survey that they have no savings fell to a 6-year low of 24%, down from 28% last year. Ever since the recession, we've noticed in surveys that people realize how important it is to have emergency savings. But for so many years post-recession, they just weren't making any progress, said Greg McBride. He was the chief financial analyst at Bankrate.com who did this survey. The poll of 1,003 Americans conducted by Princeton Survey Research Associates showed impressive savings habits among millennials, particularly younger ones. 31% of Americans aged 18 to 26 have enough saved to cover 3 to 5 months worth of expenses. May not be a huge amount of expenses in that age group. Millennials have a savings discipline that the preceding generations lacked. They have a greater aversion to debt. I don't know about that. They're not as consumption focused, and they have a greater propensity towards saving than we've seen in some time. To be fair, their parents, those younger workers, also didn't see savings depleted by long stretches of unemployment, a reality faced by many Americans aged 53 to 62. Within that group, there's a big divide when it comes to emergency savings. Among such young boomers, it's where the greatest share of Americans, 32%, say they have nothing set aside, while the same percentage say they have enough to cover at least 6 months. These folks were hit hard by recent financial downturns. So the idea here, more highlights from the report. Let me give you a few more highlights. The percentage of Americans with some savings but not enough to cover 3 months worth of expenses rose to 20%, up from 18% last year. The percentage of Americans with enough to cover expenses for 3 to 5 months inched up to 17% from 16%. As you'd expect, older boomers, those aged 63 and older, are the most likely to have at least 6 months of expenses saved for an emergency, coming in at 44%. 17% of them reported having nothing set aside for an emergency. Meanwhile, almost a third of Generation X, those people between their late 30s and mid-50s, aren't doing that great. Some 28% say they have some savings, but not enough to pay 3 months of expenses. A look at emergency savings by region shows the Midwest with the highest percentage of Americans saving. They have enough to cover 6 months of bills. Southerners have the least. Lower to middle income households, those making $30,000 to $50,000 a year, are more likely to have an adequate cushion than to have no savings at all. 24% of those households had saved enough to cover 6 months of expenses, the survey found. Some interesting information there. Again, the millennials are leading the route right there with the savings in place. So that is the Word on Wealth segment, again brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Got a few myths that could derail your finances as well. So unless you live under a tree, you've probably heard the phrase, money doesn't grow on trees. And while the phrase is meant to inspire, financial experts say expressions like this, even when intended to be encouraging, can actually have a negative impact on the snowflakes and how they view money. Money comes from a cotton bush, actually. Grant Cardone, business consultant and author of the 10X Rule, told Bankrate, seriously, the concept that money is scarce is just not true. There is just a shortage of people going for money with courage and the right attitude. How money myths led to misinformation and misguided decisions. So many people are working hard to make the right decisions about their finances, and while they may believe they're on the right track, that's often not the case due to misinformation and common money myths they are led to believe. In fact, a variety of things can cause someone to believe they're more financially savvy than they really are, and that overconfidence can end up leading them down the wrong path. This reality is often described like this: people don't know what they just don't know. And making decisions based on misconceptions can be pretty dangerous for your wallet. So in order to form the right attitude about personal finance and become more confident in the power of your own wealth, it's important to first understand the truth behind some common myths. So here are some of those. Your money is safest in the bank. Depends how you look at it. Technically, yes. Your money is safer in a savings account than it is in a shoebox under your bed. But the idea that a bank, specifically a savings account, is the safest place for your money comes from older generations who were able to put money in a savings account and get a great return on it. However, now that interest rates on savings accounts are as low as 0.01%, no longer the case. Your parents would earn more in 1 month than you could earn the entire year. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have money in a savings account. You definitely should, and it should be at least enough to cover 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. We've talked about that in the past. But once you've built up that emergency fund, you're better off investing extra money and allowing it to grow rather than just leaving it in a savings account to sit there. 401k, we've talked about that. I'm not a big fan of it. There are much better places, long and short term, for your money. Myth number 2, a penny saved is a penny earned. The truth is, budgeting and saving can only get you so far, but first, let's step back. When you're just starting to get a handle on your finances, budgeting and saving are crucial. This is how you train yourself to spend less on things you really don't need to be spending on, and you can start to develop consistent financial habits. Plus, as you save more money, you begin to understand the true power of financial freedom, a sense of security that only financial stability can provide. If you don't have a will, your spouse will get your assets. People automatically assume that all assets would go to their spouse upon death, but it doesn't play that way. The reality is that the law varies by state. When you die without a will, the state decides who will get your money.
I got a bad feeling about this.
If you have a complicated financial life, maybe you own your own business and have built up a lot of assets, or maybe you have a blended family. In more complex situations like these, you need to see an individual who specializes in wills, estates, and trusts. We've had several of these folks on our radio broadcast. If you wanted to meet one, give me a holler. I'll put you in touch with them. A will guarantees how your money will be distributed.
You know better than that.
Not necessarily, and this is why for more complicated situations, like for people with several financial accounts, big assets, etc., and if you're in California, you've got a big asset if you own your own house, it's important to talk to a lawyer who specializes in wills and trusts. And here's why. Beneficiaries named on your financial accounts will actually override beneficiaries named in your will. So if person 1 is listed on your will and person 2 is listed on your IRA and other financial accounts, person 2 will get to claim that account and the funds in it. Next myth, you should eliminate all debt as quickly as possible, especially by retirement.
This is ridiculous.
Depends on what kind of debt it is. Of course, it might be better to have less credit card debt, auto debt, but mortgages, some people say you don't want to have a mortgage in retirement. I am not of that school. I believe that if you've got the money, cash set aside in an account that's making you more money, think about it. You're able to borrow right now at a Freddie Mac rate. 3.91% is the Freddie Mac rate. I don't know if you can qualify for that. But there's accounts 6%, 7%, 8%, 17% in safe, secure investments. So why would you want to go to some of these other institutions and not get that kind of a rate of return on your money? There's a lot more of these myths. And if you want the full report, just give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. But right now, what I would recommend is set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.